And Sara Khairat joins us now live from Amman, Jordan. Sara, reactions coming in from families and advocates for the hostages that were freed?
Yeah, absolutely. Initially, we heard from the father of Noah. She had become almost the poster child of those that are held captive in that first ever video that had been released on social media showing her on a motorbike as she was being taken across into the Gaza Strip by the Hamas or Islamic Jihad fighters. He, of course, thanked those that had helped get her and the other captives out of the Gaza Strip, including thanking the Israeli Prime Minister and the government. But we've also been hearing from one of the mothers of another captive with other members of the family standing behind her. Let's take a listen.
I'm a mother of one of the captives who was released today. He asked me to tell you that we are strong. I support our soldiers and I wish all the captives come back safely to Israel. I'd also like to say a big thank you to our military, to our soldiers. Thank you to the people of Israel who are strong and who share our joy today. We will never forget those captives still being held in Gaza, and we will continue our struggle and fight to return them back home alive.
And Sara, we understand that meanwhile, protests to bring the remaining hostages back home continue.
Yeah, absolutely. And when I was mentioning there that Noah Argamani's father had been speaking when he thanked the government, but he also reminded people that there are still 210 remaining captives that are still held in the Gaza Strip, saying that he was calling on them to get together and meet in Tel Aviv, known as Hostage Square. That's just outside of the Defense Ministry, for them to remind people that the rest of the captives are still being held in the Gaza Strip. But also, aside from that, we've been seeing there was a protest that had just started against the war in Haifa. That was dispersed very quickly and a couple of people arrested. And then we've also been seeing video in the last few minutes in Tel Aviv of some anti-government protesters. Let me just remind you that on Saturdays, we've been seeing two gatherings. First, an anti-government protest that takes place in one part of central Tel Aviv. They finish that and then they go and join tens of thousands of Israelis in Hostage Square to come together with the families of those held captive. They've been putting immense pressure on the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and the government, especially as this ceasefire proposal that was pushed forward by Joe Biden, the US president, has come to a stalemate. Nothing has happened of that, at least just yet. And they know that the largest number of those that were held captive that came back alive was through the November ceasefire deal. Many of the complaints that the families have been saying is that those in charge are doing this and pushing ahead with the war for their own political gain, but also saying that they'd forgotten the #1 priority, which is to bring back those captives alive. They are concerned, of course. Yes, there are 4 captives that had been rescued today, but as a result of that, more than 200 Palestinians killed, and they know that the captives that remain in the Gaza Strip are also likely to be killed by those same airstrikes that are killing the Palestinians. And as a result, they have been pushing as hard as they can to have that ceasefire deal accepted as soon as possible. Meanwhile, there had been a statement that was going to be held by Benny Gantz, one of the war cabinet members. He cancelled that, it seems, after this news of the 4 captives being freed. He had given the Prime Minister an ultimatum, which was by June 8th, you have to let us know what the post-war plan is, move forward, give us a concrete plan as what you are planning to do, otherwise I will quit the war cabinet. That's been, it seems, rescinded at the moment at least, but it'll be interesting to see. Yes, Netanyahu is seeing this as a big victory for him, but will the families of those held captives stop their protests? It doesn't look like it, but because they are still there in Hostage Square.
Sara Khairat reporting from Amman. Thank you very much for your continued coverage, Sara.